Once again, lawmakers in the Senate will take up the issue of Obamacare. Once again, in the next few days at the earliest, they will seek to repeal the nightmarish collection of laws and linguistic idiocy that has left millions of people dazed, confused, and even some left without any health care whatsoever. Sad to note for opponents, there seems to be little chance of this effort being any more successful than the 16 previous senatorial efforts. But that it's not going to stop one group determined to change public policy. Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid be damned. He's president of the controversial organization Citizens United. Let's talk about Obamacare with the president, David Bossie. David, always a pleasure to get a chance to talk to you. So let's talk about the newest petition drive that you have out here. People who want to fight against Obamacare will say this is absolutely necessary. We have to continue fighting it. But what difference do you hope that this one will make?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me back, Ed. I appreciate it. Look, this is a vitally important issue to every American, and it's very important for the health of the American healthcare system. And so what I'm looking at here is that the Republicans in the Senate are actually going to pass a repeal of Obamacare. And it's not a show vote for the first time. And so I'm very happy that the Senate's going to do that. And I think that's because the Senate understands that Obamacare is fundamentally broken. We're not talking about we must pass it before we can know it's in the bill. We have all the rhetoric that's gone on over the last several years about people not liking it or liking it. Now we have a lot of facts. We know that Obamacare is broken. We know that the state funds are broken. The co-ops are broken. We know that United Healthcare is now pulling out. We know that it is losing money. We know that taxpayer dollars are being lost, pilfered by the hundreds of millions of dollars.
David, let me stop you there for a moment because everything you're saying is exactly correct. But you said that this is not a show vote. This is going to land on the president's desk.
It is.
And he is still basically going to write it off and say, nope, sorry, you can't have it. So then why is this vote, why is this vote then any different than the others that have failed?
But look, here's the deal. This is going to be a standalone vote. This is going to force the president to veto something that is becoming more unpopular every day. And really what it is going to do is set up Democrats in the Senate, Democrats in the House, and potentially Hillary Clinton, if she's the nominee, for next November. And I think this is a very important, very smart tactic for us.
Harry Reid recently said, everyone knows this bill cannot become law. He has said that. It's a quote. When you hear Harry Reid say something like that, how do you answer him back? Because he's sticking it right in your face and the face of everybody who could go after a petition and everybody who wants this law repealed.
Yeah, look, I'm fine with that. I encourage that because we know that we're fighting a longer game here. Barack Obama only has, thankfully, 1 year left in his term to really dismantle and fundamentally damage America. And what we have to do as conservatives, as Americans, and as patriotic Americans, is to fight him every day because we have to minimize what he's able to do. And if we can keep him on the defense and keep him on the defensive, it is going to pay dividends over the next year because he is going to use every opportunity, whether it's executive order, whether it's the courts, the legislative branch, to try to get through his aggressive leftist agenda. And we have to just, quite frankly, fight it at every turn. So look, this is a good day because when this passes and Barack Obama has to veto it, and the American people hear it again and again and again, I think we're winning, and we're winning each and every day.
All right, I got about 60 seconds left. USA Today had a column called The Citizens United President, and they basically said here, will Barack Obama be remembered for standing by helplessly as Citizens United eroded the very foundations of our electoral democracy? David, what are they so afraid of when it comes to coming after you and Citizens United? Because people like this attack constantly. What are they so scared of?
Well, first of all, they're scared of the First Amendment. I mean, I don't understand why folks are so obsessed with our Supreme Court victory. Really what it did was it allowed your average everyday American as well as wealthy Americans to participate just as though the unions have been for the last 40 years. So it leveled the playing field. But really, if we want to talk about campaign finance reform, I have some very simple solutions. that I would love to go to Congress and be able to get passed, because McCain-Feingold criminalized political speech and free speech, and all we did was take that burden off the American people.
They're going to continue to fight, but guess what, David? I've had you on the show before. I know what you're all about. You're going to continue to fight, and that's what you want the citizens of America to do. Once again, we want people to go check out, learn more about Citizens United, but also learn more about this petition drive, because it is time for people who are standing up against Obamacare to get involved again and never give it up. Go to citizensunited.org and find out a lot more about what they're doing. David Bossie, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, the political animal digs into the latest political bomb throwing, and also the reality of Bernie Sanders and what he may or may not need. Next.